Super excited to be here today with Melissa to share with you a success story about how we recently worked with one of our clients to move them out of resistance to full user adoption around the use of the Salesforce platform. So, this particular client was a family office that works a lot in philanthropic initiatives, and they had previously worked with the Salesforce platform, had multiple attempts at different rollouts, and there was a lot of frustration. They had lost trust in the platform because the rollouts were not addressing all of the requirements that they felt they needed in the use of the tool. And so, what that ultimately resulted in is honestly trust lost in the platform, but also trust lost in the team that they were working with between the business and the IT side. And so we are super excited to share some of what we did working with the team, how we overcame some of those challenges, and the results that we got for this client. So, Melissa, do you want to share a little bit about kind of some of those tactics and techniques that we brought to the table to help move them out of that resistance?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Candice. I want to also stress that sadly, this is so common. So common that we've both seen in different aspects across our history working with people adopting technology. The misalignment is so common and honest, again, too frequent do I see that the business goals don't match the execution on the technical side. Why do people lean towards resistance? Because they don't feel like they're part of it. So the user-centric design and onboarding is totally missing. It's just a clear lack of understanding what the person actually wants, and then not really understanding that leads to them being frustrated, right?
Absolutely.
So that's where we started. We dug in and we spent more time on the business side than we did the technical side. And I've been a technologist my whole career, right? So that sounds counterintuitive. And I think that's the challenge, right? We see a lot of engineering and IT teams that are very focused around, I want to show you what I can do. I want to deliver these things. So we hit the pause button and said, hold on a second. Let's sit with the business people, the people on the philanthropy side that are actually doing these jobs, and understand, A, what is it that they need to do? What are the outcomes? Put the technology over on the shelf for a second. Who cares? Who cares if it's Salesforce or any system? What are they actually trying to do? And then B, where were their challenges so far? Why is there resistance? What didn't work? So that we don't replicate that. So really understanding that. And then also, what are the roles? Really getting close to that, because part of it is understanding those business goals and then translating that to bridge the gap for the engineering team to deliver on those goals. But then the other part is, okay, now you've delivered it. How are you going to empower those people, those end users, based on their role to actually adopt it? So these are the key pieces that are typically missing. This is the ingredients, if you will, that we added back into the recipe with this particular client, and huge success. I would say hands-on oversight throughout the process, both the requirements gathering, the shepherding of the delivery, the testing, and then the end user documentation, and then the confirmation with those end users. Yes, this makes sense. And I walked through it. So
Yes.
super excited about the outcome. And I want you to share with everybody what that outcome was.
Absolutely. I'll also, by the way, want to add in an additional wrinkle that was part of this project in the very beginning was also that we were working with a third-party vendor that was also doing some of the IT processes with this team. And I think there was not only a mistrust, unfortunately, internally, but also externally, because there was lack of clarity, lack of delivery, and to your point, this misunderstanding of what was really required by the business. And I think over time that really eroded the team trust. So I think the thing that I'm most proud of in this project and what we worked on was really rebuilding that trust between those teams internally. And I think you said it comes from that listening, both from the business perspective in terms of what they really wanted and needed, and then working with that IT team to put those frameworks and structures in place to help them deliver on time and on promise. And I think that was the big piece that was missing. And not, by the way, because I think it's important to add that they didn't want to. I think it's that sometimes we overestimate as humans what we're able to accomplish in a period of time. And that's one of the biggest challenges we see in terms of development, right? Is figuring out how long is something actually going to take us to do. And so sometimes we're committing to and communicating that something that we can't actually stick to. And so fixing that communication loop and getting us closer to that framework of where we could really be very close to what we said we were able to do, right? If we weren't spot on, and being able to communicate around any of those differences, I think that made a huge difference in that trust level. And so, to your point, we had wonderful results in this particular rollout. Proud to say that we had 100% user adoption, words from our client, which was really exciting to see. And her and her team were very excited when, at the time of rollout, when we were able to actually meet those deliverables and provide what we had promised to them from an IT perspective. And really zero pushback at the time of launch when we went into production with those changes. And that was really exciting. And you said adoption of not only the technology, but also those updated processes and documentation that had been provided to them for use in that rollout as well. And I said, I think the last thing I mentioned is that renewed trust in both the platform and the team. So those were really our three biggest call outs, I would say. And we continue to see with that client now that they're going to have long-term success because we've put those processes in place for them to really be able to continue to build on that success and iterate over time, doing the same thing over and over for now, all the projects that they have coming up.
So super exciting and
very good. Can't wait for the next one. Melissa.
Thanks, Candice.